go. All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Eddy Live. I'm here with Adam.
Hello. Adam
is here to tell us all about his story, and he's got a pretty interesting one. His story is about an incredible website that he made to help people like me learn Chinese.
I don't think you need help.
Well, you know, I mean, I've been here for a little while, but it's not bad. It's not bad. But
yeah, we all got to start somewhere.
We definitely do, man. We definitely do. So, first off, what brought you to Taiwan?
So, like many other expats here in Taiwan, I came here to teach English.
Okay.
And it was only supposed to be for a year. That's what I told my mom.
Yeah.
And
yeah, me too. My mom said, "Don't get married," and
exactly.
Don't come back married. And
there's a checklist of all the things.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was in 2003.
Okay.
So my background was in computer science. So I came here to teach English. So along the way, I enjoyed the teaching.
Sure.
In fact, it's a good skill for people to learn.
I believe, yeah.
Standing up in front of an audience and kind of public speaking, that kind of thing.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, and even just being in a different culture and communication, right? Being able to communicate in a different language, all kinds of aspects to it. I enjoyed learning all that.
Of course, yeah.
After about 3 years of doing it, I had gotten to the point where, all right, I'm pretty good at teaching English. I'm not going to improve much further as far as that skill goes.
It's like a ceiling you felt, kind of.
Yeah, I'm ready for something different.
Sure.
And along the way, at the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, my background's in computer science. This doesn't really have anything to do with that. So I was wondering, is there a way to combine kind of my knowledge, the knowledge I'd gained from teaching with computer science? So along the way, one of the reasons I chose Taiwan is I thought if I'm going to another country where I have the opportunity to learn another language, Chinese is one of the most popular languages out there. So this would be a good chance to do that. So I wanted to learn Chinese, but because I was teaching, I had a day job teaching, and in the evening I would do private classes and things.
Sure.
So I didn't want to enroll in an actual class because that was time I could be teaching. So to me, it's almost like it's costing me twice as much.
I agree, yeah.
So I kept trying to learn on the side, right? So I'd buy books and CDs and then later podcasts and whatever I could consume to learn Chinese. And I found a lot of them were designed by native Chinese speakers, which makes sense.
Sure.
But then how they learned the language is different than how an English speaker might want to learn. So because I was also learning how to teach, I kept thinking that if I was teaching, I would not teach it this way, right? I wouldn't talk about this, I would talk about this, I wouldn't mention this part. So in the back of my mind, I was thinking, maybe I could create a website that teaches Chinese the way I wish somebody had taught me.
Beautiful.
So then that was kind of the concept.
$1 million idea. Love it. Love it.
Maybe not $1 million, but still.
Okay.
And so then I launched it. This was in 2006. I said, let's put it out there, see what happens.
Wow.
And so in fact, as far as like business principles go, one nice thing about the internet is you can get started for so little money. A lot of this stuff is available for free.
Sure.
So even that is just a WordPress site. I found a free theme. And I just did a rough design by myself.
And you did the WordPress site, yeah?
Yeah, very basic.
Okay, beautiful.
Right. In fact, it was just a podcast and nothing else.
Nice.
First, before I even charged money, I wanted to see is anybody even going to listen to this thing.
Yeah,
So then I put it out there, and then people started listening. I could see the clicks coming.
Beautiful.
So then I was like, okay, maybe I have something here. So then I thought, well, I should have like a paid version. There was a free version. So then I put out a paid version that at the time was just a PDF transcript of what they were hearing.
Okay.
So I said, hey, for $10 a month or something, this is US dollars, you get the PDF transcript. And then I would just create that myself. Here you go. And then people, I in fact remember the first guy who ever purchased this guy from Florida.
Okay, wow.
Like, holy crap, somebody paid money for this thing, right?
From Florida.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, I remember that was my first ever customer. So then I said, hey, maybe I'm onto something. So then slowly people started purchasing these PDFs and things. And then once I I think I had gotten to about 300 or 400 US in. I was using PayPal, so I just let the money accumulate. Okay. And then once I had about $300 or $400, I went on one of these freelance websites, and then I found this Russian website designer.
Beauty.
And I said, make this look pretty. So he said, $275. Beautiful. So then I just took it from that account. Here you go.
Awesome. So hey, wow.
He made it look more pretty. Now I look more professional.
Hey, all right. Okay. That's the way to start a business, man. I love it.
Right. And then from there, as money started coming in, and then also once you start to get users and things, I would, hey, what do you like about the site? What more do you want? And I would kind of get feedback. Oh, this is what they're looking for. And then I would create the kind of features that they wanted. Mm-hmm. And then I hired a developer in Hong Kong who I still use to this date.
Beauty.
He does a lot of the work on the site. Okay. So I started adding more subscription features and things. So over the years, I kept adding more lessons. So now there's over 400 lessons across 7 levels of difficulty. After I got, by 2008, it got to the idea behind the site was it's a progressive course. So on day 1, the first lessons are all done in English. Yeah. And then as we teach you words in Chinese, we use them in later lessons.
Okay.
So later lessons start to be all in Chinese, but this is Chinese that we taught you earlier.
Okay.
So you're kind of forced to remember what we taught you because we keep using it. Uh-huh. And then if it gets too difficult, just go back a few lessons because it's all stuff we've taught.
Yeah.
And it actually worked out because once I saw that, hey, people are actually using this. In the beginning, I was just teaching whatever little Chinese I knew. But then we got to the level where, okay, that's all the Chinese I know. What do I teach now?
Yeah, sure.
So then I started taking lessons at a local language school because now I was like, okay, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
I should probably know what I'm talking about. So I started going to class.
He does now, so.
Yeah. So I started going to class and learning Chinese. And as I would learn things, I said, hey, that's pretty useful. I think I'm going to teach that. And then I would teach it.
So direct implementation of something you learned and then implement it.
And so the course actually followed my own brain, which in fact, in retrospect today, if I was to start over and do it, I might not even be able to do it. Because I remember one time, so later in fact, as more money came in, I hired professionals to re-record all the material, because before it was me in my basement with a little cheapo microphone.
I love it. Yeah, that's the best.
But now I had money, so I hired a recording studio, brought in recording talent, and gave them stuff to read and things. And then later I hired people to write some of the scripts and things. University students, I was still trying to bootstrap. And
of course, yeah.
I remember one time we were sitting in the recording studio and she was reading. They were having this conversation in Chinese. Yeah. And then I stopped her and said, "What word did you just use there?" And she said, "Oh, it was such and such." I said, "Have we taught that word before?" She's like, "I'm sure we have." I said, "I don't think so, because I don't know what that word means."
I know that.
If I don't know what it means, we didn't teach it.
Yeah.
And so that's actually the hardest part, because later you're developing material, but the rule was you can only use stuff we've taught before. Okay. You can't just add, because that was actually one of my complaints in the school I was going to.
You gotta be building, yeah.
They would give me material, and then there's like, read this, and but we haven't learned this. And they would just assume stuff, and like it was not coordinated properly. So that was kind of one of my rules.
Understand, yeah.
Yeah. So then it kind of worked out. I enjoyed the process. In about 2008, it got to the point where most of the material we were releasing was pretty high level, and the majority of students was still in beginner mode. Okay. So then we said, we have enough material here. So I stopped producing new lessons. Okay. And then, now 2006 was a long time ago. Back then, podcasts had just started to come out.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then in 2008, the iPhone came, the iPhone App Store came out.
So kind of at the beginning of that story, was Facebook and all that out or not? Were you kind of like...
It was out. It was just I wasn't
nobody
on
knew
it
what
at all.
It was yet, right?
In fact, I started it. I started on Facebook probably 2008, 2009. Okay. But had nothing to do with my business at the time.
Okay. Sorry for cutting you off. I just wanted to see my mental timeline here. Yeah.
Yeah, but apps had just come out. In fact, when I started, And that's one of the things I got lucky on when I started. If you wanted to learn Chinese, and the podcast, there was like 2 other ones that were out there.
Yeah.
So people would find me.
Okay.
Today there's like 1 million of them.
Is there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then similarly in 2008, apps had just started to come out.
Okay.
So I created an app for it, and then people liked it, and since then created other apps and things.
That's so you created the apps yourself? That was
so all of this is actually because I'd learned how to outsource.
Okay, yeah.
Find guys.
Yeah.
So then anything I wanted, now I knew how to find the guys.
Outsourcing is something new for me that I've just started working on, and it's
so
like,
even for my first app, found a guy in Argentina, did an amazing job.
And did you use some kind of a website for that, like a Fiverr style website or like an Upwork?
For the app? No, because what happened at the time, all you had to do is you just posted it to the App Store, and Apple did all the work for you. People would go in the App Store looking for apps. They searched Learn Chinese, my app would come up, and they would download it. Okay. And then it became a way to promote the site. So people would go to the app, and then they'd say, hey, this is cool, I want to learn more. Come to my site, and then I can sell you more stuff. So
that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, so that's how it started. Now this was the first kind of entrepreneurial project I'd ever done.
Wow. Okay.
And it started to make money, and I was like, business is easy, right? Where have I been doing this all my life?
Yeah.
So then I was like king of the world. So since then,
I can do anything. Love it.
I've done maybe 15, 20 other different projects and things.
Okay.
Most of them just fizzled out. Some of them made money for a short period of time.
Okay.
But actually this website has been the only thing that's been consistent throughout. So I kind of had to check in my ego. So lately I've decided, all that time I spent on other projects, if I had spent it on improving this site, I might be somewhere else today.
You could have 10x the site, but
right.
that's how we learn, right? I mean,
totally.
I definitely I've tried a bunch of different things as well, and I've learned, sometimes you fail, but if you learn something while you're doing it, you're like fail forward type deal, right? Love it. Awesome.
Yeah. So then along the way, so I created this site. Then some of the other things I did was, while I was in the school learning Chinese, I developed a site for the university to use for their students, kind of a homework site to learn Chinese.
Okay.
They would go with the university there. And then I entered a startup competition here in Taipei.
Cool.
And then my team ended up winning the competition. We got some investment funds, and then we entered an incubator program, won more money for that. And then, so I got to go mingle in like the Google offices and Microsoft offices with VCs and different things.
Really? Wow.
Until that money ran out.
Okay.
Now I'm back here, but it was a fun journey.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And you can definitely implement what you've learned there. Here. And I think if your site is still rocking after, what is it, 2006 you said?
Yeah, so about 12, 13 years.
And I think that being a foreigner, that's a big plus for you, because everyone kind of thinks a little differently, right? And sometimes also I've went to learn, like most of the Chinese I've learned just by talking to people and with restaurants and stuff. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning I did study for a few months, and it was a little, the mindset was a bit different for sure when they're teaching you sort of how to do it kind of.
So when you learned Chinese, what part of learning Chinese, where did you find the biggest results from what, the class or just day to day or what?
Actually, for me, I only studied for, I would say, half year the most, and this was over a decade ago. And I think that the thing that helped me the most was like the BPMF.
Oh, really?
I think I did that because at that time that's what they did. Like, they still do it, but there was no choice, there was no opinion. But I found that it helped me with my pronunciation a lot.
Oh, interesting.
And I also found that learning sentences, like if you were to ask me rules or the tones or that, I don't really know them. I just know how to talk because that's how I learned how to talk. Just that's sentences like with, and stuff. Yeah.
With English teachers, the locals will come to us. So what's the grammar rule and this stuff?
Yeah, no, I've been asked that question a lot, and even when I was teaching, and they'd be like, but I understand this, but this one special incidence is, you know, how do I figure that out? And I'll be like, yeah, that's just a special one. You need to remember it.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, you just need to remember that one. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So that's pretty incredible, man. So
the other advantage with Bapa Mufa, I guess, there's a lot of children's material like you can read and stuff.
Right now, my daughter is in grade 1, and she's done the Bapa Mufa in kindergarten and in grade 1, and and she's pretty good at the reading now, I think, which is good. I mean, she's better than me. I mean, this was Bapa Mufa for me was. I've been here for 16 years, so I did that probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, so I don't remember it. I mean, when I'm helping my daughter, I can be like, okay, I can remember how many are there, like 36 or something, but I can remember probably 25 maybe, and so I can remember some, but I remember my days in the classes where it'd be me, one German guy who I'm still in touch with now, super good guy, and then the rest were Koreans and Japanese. And so for me, I always got the speaking part pretty quick, I think. Like I like to chat and stuff, so I would be talking, and I'd go in and beginning classes and stuff, I would do all the Chinese speaking and blah, no problem. So when you do like stuff like that, they're like, wow, you know, this is great. But then when it comes to reading and writing, I would just be like, and the Koreans and the Japanese, they'd just be like, tick, 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 next. And I'm like, wait, just give me another bit.
The same experience.
And I'm like, even the German guy was like, man, what the heck? Hurry up. I'm like,
I find the people who learn on the street. That's how it becomes. Their speaking and listening skills are up here.
Sure.
But then they lack the reading and writing.
For sure.
And even writing, I didn't even bother with. Like, what do you need it for?
Yeah, I mean, I still sometimes struggle writing my writing my name.
That's about all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Maybe address. I just give him the hair.
Yeah.
Just copy it off of that.
I just learned how to avoid it, reading and writing so much that I'll just, like, if I would go into a restaurant and I would just start chatting the person up. Hey, you guys have this? You guys have this? You guys have this? Yeah, okay, perfect. I'll take 2. You know, like that's how I did it, and that's how I learned. And just chatting. I've always been chatting with people, and you'd be surprised to hear. Before I came to Taiwan, I was one of like the shyest people ever, and a lot of my family, friends, relatives are shocked that I'm even here, that I would do something like this, that I would, you know, enjoy chatting with people. But I think that with the restaurant, some of the my favorite. I mean, I love the food. I love bringing the atmosphere. I love bringing what we're doing. But my favorite thing is meeting people. You know, I love meeting people. I mean, I've met just such a range of people, and I mean, everyone wants to eat. Everyone has to eat, and it's a cool thing, man. So that's what this whole show's about. Meeting guys like you that's a crazy story, man. I love it. It's a really cool thing.
You have to get out of your comfort zone.
Sure. Right? I think that's the way to grow. I agree. So we were chatting earlier, and you were saying that you're in Miaoli. Sanyi, is that Miaoli? Is Miaoli County?
So Sanyi is on the edge of Miaoli, between Miaoli and Taichung. So it's about a half-hour drive from Taichung.
Okay.
So it's out in the countryside, nice scenery and things. I have my wife and kids there.
Okay.
Living the country life, but then I like to come out to the big city, get my Western food.
Get your fix,
Exactly. I need that.
So why are in that area? Like, what brought you there? Like, there can't be very many expat or non-Taiwanese.
There aren't.
Okay.
So my wife's parents are out there.
Okay.
So because my business, I get to work from home. So we decided to move where they are. They can help raising the kids. And then also the school, it's a smaller town feel. Okay. So the school is smaller, you know, all the teachers, the principal and stuff like that. So she liked that feel.
Okay.
So this way we kind of have a mix. We can live there, but then I'm always coming out here and stuff. So everybody's happy.
I love it. I think that Taiwan is it's such a perfect mix. It's really small. Like you can go up to like Yamingshan and like be freezing, and then you can drive to Kaohsiung in like 5 hours and hit the beach, and I think the people are really nice. My also story was I was going to come for a couple of years.
Okay.
Max.
Yeah.
And it's been 16 now. And when I go back home, I feel way more at home here than my actual birthplace. To be honest, and it's a little weird, but
Same
it is
here.
what it is, man. I love it. Where were you from then originally?
So I was born in India.
Okay.
Then when I was 2, the family moved to Kenya in Africa.
Oh my gosh.
I was
there
there
you
for
go.
10 years.
Oh.
And then when I was 12, we moved to Canada, to Calgary.
Okay.
Then, so that's what I regard as my hometown. I was
Calgary,
there
Canada.
for another 15 years.
Okay.
And then I came to Taiwan, and I've been here ever since.
That's good. So Calgary.
Yeah.
So, what kind of how would that Kenya, Calgary, like what did your parents do or how was that?
Oh, my dad was an accountant, and he
Okay.
just happened to get a job in Kenya. So it's a nice place.
How is that? That's crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest difference I remember, I mean, I was a kid there.
Yeah.
Coming to Canada was the concept of weather. Because Kenya is actually on the equator.
Okay.
So it's like 25 degrees the whole year. Like
Okay.
the weather rarely even changes.
Okay.
The time doesn't. Like the sunlight, the sunrise, sunset is always exactly the same.
Beautiful. Okay.
It might be like
Okay.
a rainy season or something. That's
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
Whereas a place like Canada, the temperature swings.
All
are
4
just-
seasons. Right?
Exactly, are
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
So just this whole concept of people asking, "What's the weather going to be like tomorrow?" I'm like, "Weather? Like
Yeah,
what is
you're
that?"
like, what is it? It's the same every day. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I remember that. So I haven't been back to Kenya. I still have some contacts there.
Okay.
I'd love to go back. I still have memories of going on like a safari and seeing wild animals.
That's
and this and
beautiful.
that. Yeah.
Kids, my daughter's a big freak. She loves animals, and so she would love like something like that. When I took her to, we went to Calgary last summer. My sister moved to Medicine Hat.
Okay.
And we went to, so at that time my daughter was all about Jurassic Park.
Okay.
So she loves Jurassic Park, and there's that little town I think
Oh,
it is
Drumheller.
Drumheller,
Yeah.
right? Drumheller.
Dinosaur Museum.
Yeah. So
Royal Tyrrell.
they were telling my daughter about Drumheller, and we just told her it's Jurassic Park. Right? So
Well,
this
I
whole time,
suppose so.
she loved it. She was so excited. She told everyone in the restaurant, "We're going to Jurassic Park this summer," and they're just like,
Good luck
"Okay,
with that.
sounds good." Yeah. So she was so pumped, and by the time we got there, we kind of were like, "Okay, it's kind of Jurassic Park-ish," because I told her there might not be real dinosaurs running around.
Might.
And then she's just like, "Oh, okay, well, why not?" I said, "Well, because if the real ones are there, they might eat the people like we saw in the movies, right? Or they might do some bad stuff or whatever."
Does she know they're extinct?
Yeah, well, she knows now. Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, so, we're probably not we're not gonna see a live one." And she's like, "Well, if they eat a couple people, it's not that bad because I want to see one." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, they're not gonna be live." So yeah. But it turned out it was really good. It was a good trip. That's a beautiful place, man. Medicine Hat, Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big UFC fan, so
I was looking at this
yeah,
poster.
my
Calgary
UFC.
right here.
Yeah, that was last week, and I got this thing signed by all the fighters. So we went, and luckily there was a live event in Calgary that day. It was like 2 days before my birthday, and I said, "Hey, let's go do it." So I mean, I booked tickets way in advance, so our ticket prices were pretty good, and everything was good, man. So
Nice.
yeah, it turned out to be a really amazing trip, and my daughter's like, when are we going back?
Really?
'Cause she remembers no school, playing with the kids,
course.
just playing all day, and just like, we don't get to go back very often. So when we do go back, my daughter's only been back twice, and she's 7. So she got absolutely spoiled by my sister, by my brother, by my parents. So she was like, "Let's go there."
Totally.
Yeah, but it's good. I mean, I was kind of like, but it's okay. We barely see the family, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys get back much or
Yeah, we'll be going there this summer.
to Calgary?
Yeah, for 2
Beauty.
months.
Are your family there and still? Yeah.
My parents are there. My sister's there. She has 2 kids around the same age.
Beauty.
Then I have a brother in Toronto with a couple of kids, so they have
Okay.
lots of cousins and stuff there.
Okay.
So last year I took them there during the during Christmas, they wanted to see like a proper white Christmas.
Sure, that's on the list for me too.
Yeah, so they got to see that. My son went skiing. He was a natural.
Yeah.
So this year I said, well, we're going in summer. And he's like, but there's no snow in the summer. Why would we go there? So it's a big negotiating process.
Oh, yeah, because it's going to be nice.
Yeah. But I said, you'll get longer time. He wanted to go in Chinese New Year this time. But I said, your cousins will have school. You won't get, it'll be a shorter period. So there had to be some negotiating involved.
Do you guys get to go back much, though? Or you try to get
now
back?
I'll try to do it. Ideally, I'd like to do it every summer.
Beauty.
So the idea is here the kids have lots of exposure to Chinese.
Yeah.
And then if I can do summers there, then maybe that's a proper
That'd be
mix.
a great balance, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, I have a similar situation. I don't get back that often, but my daughter, she's speaking with expats and expat kids all day. So and me. So her English is spot on, and her Chinese is spot on. My family's Mexican, so we speak Spanish as well. And my daughter's Spanish, when she was really little, she was pretty solid, and now that she doesn't get to use it very much, it's definitely slipping. So I have the same idea, but I'm thinking maybe I have a lot of family in Mexico still.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe hit Mexico for a month or something.
So she's never been there?
She's never been to Mexico. No. I mean, I brought my wife to Mexico a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We were looking at some machinery for the restaurant.
Yeah.
But that was, my daughter didn't go to that. So I'd like that. I mean, we do have a friend of mine who like I speak Spanish with her, but she'll just reply in English because it's easy for her to do English. But
that's how I am with the Indian languages.
Yeah.
My parents, even today, they'll speak to me, and I'll just reply in English.
Yeah.
So my listening is all right, but then my speaking is non-existent.
Yeah. So I mean, I think even her listening is definitely it's lacking. So I think I'd love to keep that, and they learn fast when they're little, right? So I think she understands a lot of it, but she just kind of like she knows what she should probably say, but she's kind of like you don't want to be wrong. So I'd like to get back to Mexico, I think, and do some more of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. With if you have like with dual language, it's easy if you have this parent only speaks this language, this one only speaks this.
That's what we've done for
sure. But when you have the third language, that's when it gets confusing.
Sure. I mean, I definitely. So when she was born, I kind of was on the fence. I don't want her. I would love her to keep her Mexican heritage and keep the Spanish and be able to have all that. But then I don't want her to not have native English speaking ability, right? So I'm like, so there's a tough choice for me. But I had to take. Okay, I'm gonna make sure she really nails the English, right?
Right.
So she's nailed it. But her Spanish is definitely, it's tough. I mean, I just don't want to. I don't want it to get lost on her. So with
you were born where?
I was born in Canada. I was born in British Columbia, a really small town called Kitimat, about 8,000 people. It's beautiful. But my parents, I'm first generation Canadian. So my parents, even my older sister, were from Mexico, or born in Mexico.
So at home they spoke Spanish.
Yeah, we speak Spanish at home. But to be honest, it's pretty rusty being here for so long and not using it. You don't get to use it. Yeah. It's nice when we get Mexican or Latino customers, and I'll be like, we get to use my Spanish, and we're chatting. But sometimes I'm just like blank. I'm like, I forget the word, and then people are kind of like, what's going on?
Even me, I used to be really good at French.
Okay.
Like in high school, I was like advanced French and doing
Canada,
essays
right?
and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Now I can barely put together a sentence. Yeah.
I think it's kind of buried, though. I mean, I would imagine if you
if I had to learn it again, probably
it'd be quick, right? Yeah. Good. That's cool. So, I think that I love this story, man. And what's your next step? What do you think about you were saying what you would maybe want to do more things for your website, and maybe
with this site there's more niches I would like to focus on. So for me personally, excuse me. So actually, one of the lessons I learned along the way, I mentioned I did lots of other side projects.
Sure.
That startup, for example, I did. It was a service catered to Taiwanese. So I thought, well, living in Taiwan, you have Taiwanese here, so I'll create a product for them.
Sure.
and it was a complete bomb because I was actually creating a product for myself.
Okay.
I didn't know what their needs were, right?
Okay,
And
I
one of the
understand.
reasons why this site succeeded was because I just created a product for myself, what I
Sure.
wish I would use.
Okay.
And if there's other people like me, they will like it too.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons I feel I can stand out from a site created by a native Chinese speaker, because
Okay.
they won't understand like if you look at Taiwanese sites, for example, it's all like blinky, busy.
It's very
text.
different, yeah.
Yeah, very different
Definitely
from
very
what
different,
we
yeah.
would want.
Yeah.
So you just create something, the type of product you would want, and if
Yeah.
you're happy with it, hopefully if there's other people like you
Yeah.
that you can attract, they will use the product too.
Understand.
So I kept trying to create products for other audiences that I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the lessons I learned was I'll just stick to what I know, what I'm good at. So even along the journey for learning Chinese, similar to you, even today, I'd say my speaking and listening skills are higher than my reading skills.
Mhm.
So I'd like to focus on the product specifically for reading.
Okay.
I have some ideas of what I want to do there.
Okay.
So there's that.
Excuse me.
And then just keeping up with the technology.
Mm-hmm.
I've created apps for different products, but they keep coming out with new versions of tablets and this and that. So you have to constantly
Okay.
update
Yeah.
some of the technology and things. So I have to kind of catch up in some of the areas
Understand. Yeah.
where I'm falling behind.
Would you consider maybe an app for the website, something where they could kind of have it to, or is your website?
So there's already an
is
app.
it mobile friendly? Your website, or
So that's already there. The
Okay,
app is
beautiful.
mobile friendly. The
Okay.
site is mobile friendly,
Mhm.
and there's an app, but the app doesn't have all the content that the site does.
okay.
So I'm in the process of porting some of the more of the content from the
Okay,
site into
okay,
the app.
Okay.
In the past, it was most people used computers, but along the years, now more people use their phones
the
than
phones
the
for
computers.
everything. Yeah. Yeah.
So before, the app was a subset of the website, but now it has to be kind of the opposite. I
Yeah.
have to make it a more app-centric kind of product.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes some effort on my part, but yeah, I need to put that time into it. And then I'm also creating so I mean, the current product is for people who are looking to become fluent or functionally fluent, I'd say,
Okay.
in Chinese.
Okay.
But there's also a big portion of the market who, I don't want to be fluent,
Yeah.
I just want to know the basics. right?
Basics to get by. and stuff,
Exactly.
order
You
some
might,
food.
for people who are just traveling, for
Sure.
example,
Okay.
they're not looking to get fluent, but enough
Yeah.
to get by.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
even for people living here,
Mm-hmm.
there's still segments of the market that they're not familiar with. So I'm creating kind of like a survival Chinese kind of course.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
With specific subjects on topics on like teaching English, like the type of vocabulary you'll hear in class, or even dating in Chinese, what kind of
Nice.
words you'd use there.
Yeah.
Or
Do you have a story for that one?
sure.
or no?
Oh, tons
All
of stories. You'll need another podcast.
That's
for
another
that.
show, yeah.
And then business Chinese that could. So I have some episodes and material created. So I hope to put that out in the coming weeks, and it'll be a similar process. I put that out and get feedback, and are
Great.
people happy with this? Or maybe I'm missing some things, or maybe I have to tweak it a little bit and
Yeah.
play around with it. So similar process.
Okay.
So yeah, that should keep me busy.
Great, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I quick story was my first month here. I met a friend of a friend introduced me to this girl, and I think we were good, and I was.
There's always
walking,
a girl
There's always a girl, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
and so I was walking her home, and her parents, sort of on the first floor of the building, had like a car repair shop,
Okay.
and they were having a party, or just drinking beers and barbecuing and stuff. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to go in, and it's awkward for me.
Uh-huh.
I don't speak Chinese, and I've been here for like 3 weeks, so
Uh-huh.
let's just I'm like, okay, we'll see you soon or tomorrow, whatever. She's like, no, come in and meet everybody. And I'm like, and then they saw me, and they're like, hey, and the dad saw me. He's like, hey, come on in, because I'm thinking, oh no, this
Yeah.
dad's probably gonna hate me, you
Right.
know? And he comes in, he's like, hey, he gives me like a beer. He's like, hey, Chad. Everyone's chatting, and and it's always like, oh, how's Shuai or whatever,
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get that right. And then I didn't know any Chinese,
Uh-huh.
and then I saw the mom, and I'm like, hi, nice to meet you, to the mom, and she just looked at me. She froze. she looks at the daughter, and she's like, 小心. You know?
Yes.
And then I'm like, what does she say? What does that mean? And she's like, oh, no problem, no problem, no problem. And I'm like, the whole day, like all night and until I went to school the next day, I just kept saying 小心, 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 小心. And then when I got to school, they're like, hey, good morning. I'm like, what's 小心? And they're just like, oh, be careful.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense now, yeah. Because that was how I learned that word, 小心, yeah.
But see,
pretty funny, yeah.
The funny thing with that is you hear words like this, but then you have to remember the right tone.
Yes, for sure.
Like you say it a little 小心, they're like, I have no idea what that means.
Sure, I remember being at the high-speed rail trying to get a ticket, and they thought I was trying to get dumplings. You know? I was just like,
there you go.
Why would I want dumplings?
Exactly, context.
Yeah, I was just like, dumplings? No, yeah.
Oh yeah, lots of stories
like that.
And even similar stories where you just meet someone, come meet my family and stuff. Yeah.
Whereas back home, it's like you don't meet the family unless it's like serious.
Yeah.
So you go in and you're like, usually the dad is kind of like,
oh yeah,
who the heck is this guy with my daughter, you know?
Yeah.
But his guy's like, hey, come on in. And I'm just like, okay, me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You know, it's Taiwan's a cool place for sure.
Yeah, and that's part of the experience, right?
Yeah,
of being here.
Love it, man.
Nice.
All right, brother. So we wrap it up. What do you think? Yeah.
No, that was great.
So I want to thank you guys for watching the show, and if you guys have any questions about the website, well, right now,
clo.com.tw. There's a contact us form. You can get a hold of me.
If you want to get in touch with the man, that's how you do it. We will put a link in the description, and subscribe, share, check out the site. Lots of good things coming, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Eddie.
Well, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
thanks for making the trip. Take it easy, guys. Peace.